so I like to give it a wheel wedge just to get all the clay particulates aligned a lot better. So when I'm doing that, I'm pushing with my palm here at about 7 o'clock. And with my right hand, I'm pulling with my fingers straight into my palm. Just sort of squeezing the clay as I go work my way up. I'm not lifting up into the clay. If you lift up into the clay, that's kind of when you get the tendency to tear the clay. So just try to squeeze, apply some pressure inwards, and the clay will start moving its way up as it doesn't have anywhere else to go. So from there, I'm just going to start to center the clay going down from the top down. Because this is a demonstration, I'm just going to do it once so I can go on with it, but I always like to do that at least twice with my pieces. It really just kind of helps get all the clay particulates aligned in the same direction better. So I'm going to center this thing. I'm not centering it tall or anything, just a nice kind of even mound for what I'm, you're always centering it first. Try to set it up for what you're going to make. If you're making something tall and narrow, you might center it more tall and narrow. But, for set it up appropriately for what it is you're going to make. So I'm going to go down into it. Make the hole the same way we always make a hole. Stop before you get to the bottom. I'm going to open this whole thing up. And when you're opening this up, pay more attention to the bottom of it. You're opening that up too. Some people, they just open the top up and they leave a lot of clay at the bottom. If you get a more even wall, think about just opening the bottom up. And as you're opening that bottom up, the top's going to sort of follow. Alright, so I want this thing kind of squatted down sort of short and wide, the double wall. So I'm making one thick wall right now. And work the bottom, just get the bottom smooth the way you want it. Alright, so from here, I'm going to split this big thick wall into two walls. So find a finger that works good for you, and you can just kind of go straight down into it, nice and steady. Still touching with two hands just to kind of keep steady better, as opposed to just going down into one hand. I've got my hands relaxed here, and even kind of steadying it with the other hand. And if you need more water, use more water. When you go to seal this thing up, you don't want a bunch of water sitting inside because it'll crack. So before you seal this thing up, you're going to get all the water out of it. Alright, so I'll work the inside wall first. I'm just going to bring that thing up into a cylinder for now. The outside wall. When you first pull, you want to be kind of more straight. You don't want to start going out just yet. Always wait till the end to go out.
Sometimes it happens involuntarily.
Keep it in the best you can. And it's not the end of the world if you do. Just don't go too far out until you're ready. Alright, so now I got the two walls going here. I'm going to start to shape the water to get in there. So we need a little water just to give me some friction on the hand to get in there. I'm just going to shape this outside wall a little bit. And I'm just going to pull the inside wall, shape that. Go out a little bit more, I think. So then you can just sort of join the two walls together. You really want to, work them together pretty good. Just putting them together just lightly, they'll kind of split open and crack on you. So just sort of work the seam back and forth a little bit with the sponge. Make sure that it's sealed really good. If you press too hard that the air kind of starts to give you a problem, you can poke a little hole in it to let some air out. In fact, would you hand me a needle tool, please? So I'm just going to poke a little hole on this side, and that way the air has somewhere to go. And you do need a hole in it somewhere when you go to fire it, just a small little hole. I'll usually do some tiny little hole, and then I'll actually kind of try to patch it back up with a little bit of clay, like the tiniest amount of clay before I glaze it, and then stick that into the kiln to glaze it. But you need a little hole in it in the first firing just so that the air has somewhere to go. And then depending how you patch it, if you don't patch it hard all the way, that little bit will get covered up by the glaze. The air will still have somewhere to go, if you just do a loose patch job. Yeah, I'll just stick a tiny little piece of clay in the hole, just mostly fill it in, and then put the glaze over it.
Just
usually by then,
clay?
What's that?
Or like just regular clay out of the bag?
Yeah, because we're talking like a pin size with the clay in a hole. So if I just kind of cut into it without putting that little hole in there, the air that's inside would kind of start to push around on both the walls, and it kind of gets uneven. So just giving the air somewhere to go when you start to work it is kind of an important thing. I'll just smooth this off now. So I've got this bowl now that's a lot, it looks thicker and heavy, but it's hollow on the inside. It's the double wall bowl. Or you can give it a little design just like any other bowl if you want. Yeah.
That doesn't get into the other wall.
No, you can see it's like an inch and a half thick on the outside, so there's maybe an inch on the inside there for it to move around.